I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Francis, my husband, he travels for work from time to time, about once a month. He'll go out of state or in state, but a couple hours away from here for a couple of days. And it feels like my life it feels like my life is a little empty when he leaves, but I don't think that's a bad thing because I'm more prone to focus on the boring stuff when he's not here. So it makes it easier for me to study and clean the house and just, do the things that need to be done because, when he's here, I still want to do all of those things, but I want to do all of those things with him, and it gets distracting, and we end up reading and maybe watching a movie, cooking together. So I feel like my life slows down a lot when he's on these trips, or at least becomes a lot simpler because I'll have to live by myself for a couple of days, and I just check off my list. And it's boring, but I especially like cleaning when he's gone because I know the feeling of coming home after being out, and I know the feeling of coming home to a clean house after being away from home for a couple of days. And I just want to give that to him. And normally I also do my best to cook something for him on the day he gets home. But now it's a little different because we're counting calories and stuff, and he has a very strict diet he follows. So this time I will probably just warm up the chicken he already made, or maybe I'll make a recipe. I don't know, but if I do something, it'll have to be low-cal, high protein. I don't know, maybe this time around it would be something I would have to discuss with him if he even wants that, because I want to support him as best as I can, and part of the support is also making healthy food, having healthy food around, and not having too much junk. Because to be honest, I do use his trip as an excuse to make a little bit of unhealthy food sometimes. I'll use a little bit too much oil, too much salt, but I think it tastes good, so it's maybe it's worth it. But not this time. This time it will have to be healthy. We'll see what I'll do with that. It's been... Wow, he left on Wednesday, and today is Saturday. So that's 4 days of me just being alone in this house. And I don't know, it just feels longer. It just feels longer than it usually does. Probably is longer than it usually is. And it's just been so quiet here. I've been cleaning a little and studying a little and contemplating a lot. I was supposed to book tickets to Florida Friday. Maybe it was Thursday. It just feels like it has been something I have been needing to do for a long time, and I'm just not doing it. I've looked up tickets multiple times and I've added them to my cart, and when push came to shove, I just didn't book it. It's pretty quiet here. I don't know. Maybe it's a little weird this time because my grandmother just passed away, and I know I'll be leaving as soon as he gets back, and that makes me sad, and I don't know, a little irritated or irritable. It just feels so quiet. It's the only way to describe it. Like, it feels like nothing is going on. It feels like it's not fun. It doesn't feel fun, but I know it's necessary. When Francis is here and we eat, we usually put something on the TV, a fun YouTube show or something like that. But I don't know. Feels like that's our thing, you know, it's not something I want to do by myself. It's something that's fun with him. Maybe I'm limiting myself. I don't know. I just miss him. I just miss Francis, and I just wish. Well, you know, I'm fine. I don't mind it. I'm glad he's working hard. I mean, it's good for us financially, and it's good to work, you know, because when he leaves, he has a purpose. He's like very busy. He's working like his ass off. But I'm at home alone most of the time. So it feels different, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I do. I get my schoolwork done. I get the house cleaned. The house feels really good when it's clean, and I feel like I need to change that behavior of mine, because I really only do a deep clean when he goes on his turnaround, which is once a month, which is, I think, a good time frame for deep cleaning. But I just love hanging out with him when he's here, you know. I don't know.
I also really like, I said this to Gina, my wife, as well. I really like having time alone. I really like spending time by myself. Like, I love my wife and I love spending time with her, but the time I spent away from her is so valuable to me, because it reminds me how much I love her, how much I miss her. And it's not like I don't show her. I like to think I'm a pretty good husband. I'm a pretty good reciprocator of affection. I just really, really like being reminded of, you know, how valuable. Sometimes when something's right in front of you, you just get used to it, and you may take it for granted. I don't ever want to get to that point. And I think that's why the work trips, as well as her little trips when she had to go for her grandma passing, you know, helping her mom with stuff, I think those have been very valuable to me, just as a reminder. Because when I go on a work trip, it's actually not that hard to be away from her, because I'm constantly working. I'm always doing something. There is no rest when I'm on a work trip. But when she leaves and I'm still at home, like, that's when it really sinks in how much I miss her, how much I wish she was here, how lonely this bed is without her. I think it's important to get some time apart to be more deeply loving when the time comes around.
The house does feel, it's so different, right? Because nowadays he's home before me. So then tomorrow when I get home from work, I know like an empty house is going to be waiting for me. And I'll have to sleep alone. And I'll just have to go through life alone for a couple of days because his work trips are very high stress and kind of a go, go, go situation. So it's not like we are in constant contact while he's on his work trip. Like he'll give me updates, right? Like, oh, I've arrived at my destination. I'm going to work now. I'm sleeping now. And yeah, dare I say it's quiet when he's gone. Like we have to make sacrifices right now. I feel like we are making these sacrifices a little bit later in life, and that's because we slacked off earlier in our early 20s. I think both of us did. And now in our late 20s, we are trying to make up for that slack. And part of that making up means we have to be separated for a couple of days so he can make more money and I can focus on my school. He's making that sacrifice for us right now, and I appreciate him for it. And that's also a reason why I always do my best to just clean up, cook, like make the home as comfortable and welcoming as possible. And I know like it's not necessary. I know like he's gonna be happy to just be home, but you know, I want him to know that I know that he's working hard and I appreciate him for going out and doing all of that, even though it's hard on both of us.
He's my best friend. He gives me a lot in life, you know. He motivates me. I think there's reasons I love being with Francis. He motivates me. He pushes me to be my best self. You know, he wants to see me improve, and he doesn't just say, okay, you need to change. He actually helps me change, you know?
I'm gonna miss him a lot, as I always do. But I'm still gonna lock in. You know, I'm not gonna use that as an excuse to slack off and just watch Hallmarky movies, which I have done in the past. Like I would, when I say past, I mean very much before Francis and I moved to America together. I think together we've grown a lot. He has definitely improved me a lot. It was so easy for me to take on that victim mindset, that victim mentality, like, oh, why is life happening to me? Oh, I am so sad. I just need to lay on the couch and eat junk food and watch TV until the day is over so that I can finally go to sleep. And then I have to wake up again and do it all over again. Like, what I'm trying to say is there was a period in my life where I used to just, you know, I just used to wait. I let life pass me by, and my only goal for the day is to make it to nighttime so I could go to sleep, because it felt like life stopped when you sleep. To me, you know, like I close my eyes, I wake up, 12 hours have passed, and I'm like, fuck yeah, 12 hours. I don't have to live, right? And that was before. Now, You know, it's still hard because obviously like it doesn't change 1, 2, 3, but now I can at least recognize my negative thoughts. And I've just recently actually started doing this thing. Like, whenever I start going down into a spiral, I will stop myself and I'll just say it out loud, because it usually happens in the shower conveniently. I don't know, there's something about like water. Yeah, and just being in a hot shower and the steam and the blurry vision, and it just triggers negative thoughts, I guess. Or maybe not always negative thoughts, but it makes me hear my thoughts better, is what I should say. And then if one of my thoughts is negative, I'll just be like, this thought doesn't serve me. This doesn't serve me. And that helps. And I think that's something I have learned from Francis, and along with a lot of other healthy coping mechanisms that I now apply in my day-to-day life. And then going back to him being gone, it is, I don't know who would know this about me. I feel like not a lot of people just know me in general, but it is so easy for me to get lost and just be like, okay, now what? So with Francis around, it's very easy for me to just follow his direction, because he's a very directional person. He'll be like, okay, we're going to the gym, we're doing this. So he's not just giving me direction, but he's also teaching me how to direct myself, if that makes sense. So especially in the beginning, when he was gone, I would feel so lost the first like couple of hours of being alone, and I would be like, oh my God, what do I do now? Like, everything I do, I do with him. But then I started cleaning and cooking and doing school, and now I am also starting to go to the gym by myself more often. And it's scary because, yeah, we started off training together, and then now we're at a point where we mostly go to the gym together, but we train separately. And even that is a scary thing that for me, and I'm still getting used to it, you know. And then now sometimes I'll go to the gym by myself as well. I guess I am getting used to doing things by myself. So yes, I will miss Francis. I miss Francis a lot when he goes on his work trips, and it feels like life becomes a lot harder, and at the same time simpler, because I have my checklist, right? Clean the house, do schoolwork, cook, like my little simple checklist, and go to the gym now as well. But it is still hard, like mentally, you know. But it's getting easier, and I feel like I'm just rambling with no point, but I would prefer it. I would not prefer it. But it has its positive sides as well.